Hi, and welcome to Shia's room. This evening, plan we plan to have a great time with you here this evening with Sister Debbie Caraballo. I am so happy to have her on with me. She is local, so she is a Trinbagonian. And Sister Debbie, welcome to
Thank,
Shia's room.
thank you for having me.
Yeah. Guys, so you know a thing, we are encouraging you to show some love. Send a message, put your name, shout out, anything. Just let the Sister Debbie know that you love her, you are hearing her, and you are inspired by her story. Now, there are so many labels that I can give to this woman. She's a woman of strength, of resilience. She's brave. She's very brave to be on right now because when I contacted her, she said, listen, this kind of thing is really, really not my kind of thing. But she loves people and she wanted to be able to inspire someone. So she took on the challenge and she came on with me. The greatest label that represents her is Child of the King. And we're not talking about no any ordinary king. We are talking about the King of all kings. And because of this, she was able to wrestle with cancer and beat it. And so we would be chatting about how she was able to take on cancer and still be standing here, or sitting, I should say, here with us, sharing her story. And I hope that it would be a great inspiration to someone here at this point in time and anyone else who may look at this video on a later date or time. So, Sister Debbie, well, I know you as Sister Debbie. It
Yeah,
is very, very hard
the
for me
matter.
to say Debbie is Sister Debbie, Sister Debbie. Yes. I worked with I had the opportunity of working with Sister Debbie in my young, days. Um, she is an entrepreneur. She has her own preschool slash daycare. You still run a daycare, right?
Yeah, not again, just
Not
preschool.
again, just a preschool. Well, she
Yeah,
had a daycare and a preschool, and I was honored to be the person in charge of the daycare.
yeah,
But she continued even after I left, and today she still continues on with her preschool that is doing actually very, very, very well.
praise
And
God.
so she still stands as a source of encouragement. Hi, Ify. Hey, what's up? Nice to have you locked in. And I just want to remind our viewers because I sometimes forget that, well, I try to wrap up within by 8 o'clock because there's unscripted voices that comes on at 8. And I'm encouraging you to look for unscripted voices on Facebook and, take in the program that they do there. It's a live program where you are able to go on. You are given your topic on the spot and you have to talk 5 minutes on that topic, but not just talk, but be a motivational speaker at that time to inspire others on whatever topic you are given. So I am encouraging you to join on scripted voices. And back to you, Miss Debbie, Sister Debbie. Yes, Sister Debbie, I always start off with the background. Now, again, I worked with you, and you have told me about a lot of persons who have been a source of strength in your life. It is proven that our character is developed between fertility and 7 to 8 years old. So there is usually someone or some persons in our life in that space of time that encourage us to be resilient. encourage us to stand, encourage us to be able to fight the good fight. So, Miss Debbie, I want you to give us a little of your background. Tell us how you grew up. Who are the persons in your life that encouraged you to be all that you are?
Well, Miss Briggs, I am the first of four siblings, four girls, and I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist home with my mom and stepfather, and we were taught many things about Christ and how to carry about ourselves. But things became a bit rough within the family, and my mom, she left and she went to the United States of America. And I stayed with one Cecilia Gonzalez,
Hmm.
which was someone who took care of me from the age of, I should say, 14. For I lived with her for 11 years. And she was a very kind, loving, but strict person. She was also a Christian. And I lived with her all those years. She took care of me. She made sure I was clothed. I got food to eat. I'm singling it out because I came from a very poor background. And she really took care of me. And she took care of other children as well. And so I must thank God for her. But there were some others who were rallying around and helping me in our poor state, I should say, when things were really tough. We had deceased Mrs. Sybil Hayward. We had, I still have Sister Toussaint, Norma Toussaint. I have also Miss, I call her Auntie Hermie. She is like my mother and her entire family. And I have the Callises. These are persons who were always there for me. So you have, and I call most females, but with Auntie Hermie, you have Uncle Boise as well. He's a father. So he has been a father to me over the years, and I am really grateful for that. And these persons I'm talking about are persons who are Christian and they show a lot of love. And when you see how I get along with them, you will say, well, maybe they are blood family. And they are not, but they are like real blood family. And I thank God for that. So that's just part of my background.
Okay, and I also had what you label a poor background, but for me it was so rich. And I always say, the greatest riches that man could have is support, human support,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
support and love of family members and persons. Sometimes persons who are our family members and closest is not blood members either. Is those
No,
persons who just decide to adopt us and to love us in spite of. Uh, a Facebook user said, "Hey guys, again I remind you, our viewers, that if you did not give StreamYard the permission to display your name, they will not display your name. So we need a time for you to put your name so that we can know who's sending the love. So whoever say, hey guys, let's know who you are so that we can shout you out by name. And don't forget, we always encourage you to leave a comment, give Walker. Yes, Nigel. Hey, it's always good to have you locked on with us, Nigel. Uh, and we encourage you to leave your comments, leave your questions as you join with us here. Sherry Ann Cooper, again, another supporter. And, thank you, Sherry Ann, for being locked in with us here. Good night to you also. Yes, yes, uh, Sister Debbie. So give me some stories about growing up now. I would love to hear some stories about growing up. Really.
well, I guess I can add a little more to it. Growing up was really rough, my life was a really rough life in that my mom and dad they parted, and my mom just had to take care of, I only had my mom after a while to take care of us, and things was really hard. She would have been out of her job a few times, and sometimes days we don't have the proper meal, and as some persons will say, we just had sometimes some green fig and salt, not even
Hmm.
butter,
Right.
yam or dasheen and salt, as we will
Mm.
say, some water. And we didn't have a home of our own. We were renting here, renting there, and after a while, things got really rough. And the same person I mentioned before, Mrs. Cecilia Gonzalez, deceased, she took us in. She gave us a
Right.
place to lay our head. And
Mm-hmm.
remember, I told you before, she was a really kind person. And
Mm-hmm.
she was the Dorcas or the welfare leader of our church. And she used to do a really good job. And she took us, she gave us a place to lay our head. Now, when we got there, as I said, life was really rough. We had just like one little pitchel stove, one
Mm-hmm.
bed, um, and just the floor. So I know what it is to lie on the floor and sleep. You
Right.
have your bedding. Long ago, you will call it your bedding. So you use little
Mm.
pieces of, to put on the floor to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, my siblings they went different places because my mom she was planning to go to the States with the help of friends. And my
Mm-hmm.
siblings went to their relatives, and I was the only one who remained. So she was planning to leave me with Mrs. Gonzalez. I got there. And
Right.
but before, life was really, really rough. I was the thinnest person you could think about on earth. I used to think so at one time. I was so, I wouldn't say thin, I was skinny, as we will say long ago, you know. And one day I remember my stomach was looking really fat, and I said to myself, maybe I'm putting on a little weight, but it wasn't that, It's the gas that was
Mm-hmm.
building up there with no food,
Wow.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but I thank God for now that I'm grown, I realize God has been there for me and with me through all that I
Mm-hmm.
went, And when I went to live with Miss Gonzalez, I mean, even before I went there, when I come from school, I will have to
Mm-hmm.
walk like a quarter mile with a pigtail bucket to get water. And the steps that
Wow.
led to our home were like 72 steps. I still remember it up a hill. And as I
Mm-hmm.
get home, I had to go down, go across by Mrs. Gonzalez, get the bucket of water. And the first thing she'll ask me, girl, you just came from school, you got anything to eat? And I would say, well, I used to call her auntie at that time. I said, no, auntie. She said,
Mm-hmm.
come quickly, come and get something. And she will make sure she gave me something to eat. And she said, all right, go along now and go, because my
Mm-hmm.
mom's a person, she didn't want people to really know her business. And so
Right.
she would hustle me, and I would get back with my pigtail bucket of water on my head and
Mm-hmm.
back up those steps. So it was really
Hmm.
rough, but God has kept me, and I want to give Him praise and thanks. There are so many other things that I can say, but let
Yes.
me just, let me pause there for a while.
Yes. I There's a Facebook user that said good night again. You can pop your name in so you can know who we are shouting out. Sister Cheryl James, who I affectionately call Mums. She said good night, you ladies listening. It's
Good
nice
night,
to
Sister
have you
Cheryl,
back in with us, yeah. And
and all the
a
other
Facebook
viewers.
user, another yes,
Yeah,
another Facebook. Sister Debbie, you're getting a lot of love. Tonight there's another Facebook user who say good night. Good night to you also. Yes. So sometimes when we are going through our adversities, we don't see the point in going through. We ask, why me? And
yeah.
at a young age, you were thrown into many adversities. Roseanne Batista is seen on YouTube. That's my mom. Good night, mom. Thanks for
Hi,
supporting.
Mom.
Yes. And Sandra Silly. Good night, my dear. She says, good night to you also. Uh,
Thank you. Good night.
yes. yes, Sister Debbie. And this, it is said, if we can live our life from the end, go to the beginning, then we will not complain so much about the situations that we are in. But because we cannot see the end, is why we complain so much. Now, you
Much. Yeah.
have talked about some as adversities that you have been through,
You,
but this helped to make you stronger. It helped you to know that it was not the end of the world.
of
And so
course
I
not.
want you to, right. And so later on in your life, you had this great adversity that you had to stand up and take charge of in your life and come out on top. There are lots of persons who have been down that road and have not come out on top as you did. And
Mm.
so I want you to just tell us about the day that you found out you had cancer, how long ago it was, how many years ago that you found out you had cancer, and how did it make you feel when you found out you had cancer. But before you answer, someone says, Miss Debbie, good night. You're looking nice. COVID have you looking good. That's
God be
on
praised.
Facebook. So again, just the person who left that comment, you can leave your name so that we know who it is giving Sister Debbie their love tonight. Yes, Sister Debbie. So these are the questions I would like you to answer. You know, what year you found out you had cancer, how you felt when you found out you had cancer.
Well, approximately 8 years ago, a night I attended a function, one of my daughter's function, and I was just feeling this pain under my arm, my left arm,
Mm,
and you know, sometimes when you feel it, say it will go away. But as
right.
in night progress and it's time for us to get home, and on my way home, it's just getting worse. And
Mm,
we had hired a driver to take us to the function. And I asked the driver, I said, please, I cannot go home. I can't take it anymore. You need to take me to the hospital. And
mm,
I got there, and thank God, well, as a preschool teacher, wherever you go, you will bounce people that knows you or you know. And I had a number of
mhm,
parents who were working at the hospital. So when I got there, I got through really fast. And lo and behold, there was one of our favorite doctors there from our congregation. And
right.
he asked me a few questions. I told him how I was feeling. And to make a long story short, he said that it was inflamed, right?
Mm,
The lymph node was inflamed under the arm. And he advised me the best thing to do is to remove it. Now,
mhm,
I was always a health person, and
right.
I did my herbal cleanse with fiber and all that before. Was successful with that, and I used to follow up with my herbalist and look at videos and read a lot about health and you know and what's going all around. And I decided, okay, first time I'll be going through this, having a surgery. So I was admitted in the hospital the Monday, and the surgery was a Tuesday, and I was discharged the Wednesday.
Mhm,
And they said to me that they will have to carry it to test and all that. So I went home, I rested and all that. They said I have to join the clinic, and I did join the clinic, and I did all my vitals and checkups and stuff. And every time I attend clinic, doctor will ask me, Miss Caraballo, you got your results as yet? And I would say, well, no, doc. He said, but you're not concerned. I said, no, I'm not bothered. Because why? Because I know that
mhm,
God is in control.
right.
And I will go, and every time I will attend. And this particular day, I remember the same doctor passed by,
Mhm,
and he said to me, hey, Miss Caraballo, you're here? I said, yes, doc. He said, you didn't get the thing as yet? I said, no. So he said, all right, don't worry. You will get the result. And the result was there. He just left. And when they
Mm.
called me in, there was an intern, and she gave me
Mm.
the result. She said, Miss Caraballo, I'm so sorry that I am the one who have to give you this. But I went knowing that God is in control.
Right.
And when she gave me the result, what we know from before, that when you are going to receive the result, you must have someone with you. But that day it
Mm.
was just Debbie and Debbie alone. And
Mm.
I got the result, and she said, you have cancer.
Mm.
Okay, so she said, and at that time I said, maybe they got so accustomed giving all these results to people that it came across as if there was no mercy to say, well,
Right.
give you a little
Mm.
comfort or tell you something. It's just like, this is the paper, just go and make the appointment on college June. I said,
Right.
okay. So I walked out, and while walking, I started walking slow. And the enemies tried to play on my mind because a few
Mm.
drops of tears were coming down. And
Mm.
so I walked out, and I met someone at the desk, and the person said that they will assist me, somebody that I knew, and to make the appointment. And while I walk out, I met two sisters from church, and they know I'm a Jehovah person. So they try to make a little joke with me, and they find, Debbie, what happened? And
Mm.
when they look at my face, and the person maybe give them a signal that, one of them said to me, sit. So I
Mm.
sat, and she said to me, you remember when I went through this, you were the one who I spoke with, you were the one who gave me courage. And I said, but
Mm.
wait, what happening here? Man, I wiped
Mm.
my eyes dry. I said, not to
Mm.
the devil. And I got up and I said,
Mm.
come, let's want to make the appointment. But I'm going to make the appointment, but I know to myself, I am not going to do any chemotherapy. I'm not going to do any radiation. But I
Mm.
went and I did I made the appointment. I
Mm.
went back on the date, and I walked in very brave, knowing that I'm not going to do those things.
Mm.
And the doctor saw me. He said, Miss Caraballo, have a seat. I sat, I listened to him. And in the middle, I said, Doc, I don't think you should continue. He said, what do you
Mm.
mean? He said, but I saw you coming in. I tell myself, this lady look like she will do any chemotherapy and things. So I said, really? I said, I respect you as a doctor, but I think between you and I, you will just be wasting your time. He
Mhm.
said, hold on a bit. Let me go and get some information. He went and he got some statistics about ladies in 1980, this and that. And he pulled it up, printed out, and he brought it for me. I looked through it, folded the paper, and I just put it in my pocket. He said, wait, like, you really not interested? I said, no, doc. He said, so what
Mm.
you going to do? I said, God is in control. I said,
Mm.
I can do my cleanse and I can do something just different. He said, you sure? I said, yes. And I thanked him and I left.
Right.
Um, so I got in. School was on that day, the teachers were there. And I got in and I walked in, I smiled with everybody. Hi, how you all going? How are the children and everything? And nobody
Mm.
knew.
Mm.
I went upstairs and I got into my room and I just relaxed for the day. Well, of course, they know that I went to clinic, so I would have been a bit tired. So I got in and I just talked to my father, and I didn't say anything to the teachers. So they left, went home, and my daughter wasn't home at that time. And I said, well, when she come, I will put her sit down, I will talk with her. I can't remember if it's said night I did it or next, but I think it was sooner than the teachers. And I
Mhm.
spoke with her, and I was in a high spirit when I spoke with her. So she
Mhm.
knew that I was a positive person, and
Right.
I will always talk about health, and she knew my herbalist used to always talk to me. about certain things and what to expect when you go, how you will be faced with certain comments, even from the doctors as well. And she never said to me, "Oh my, mommy, no sadness, no
Mm.
different." She treated me normal, and that was it. Now I didn't know personally if she was what how she was feeling inside, but she didn't show me that face.
Mhm.
And continue. Well, I attended the clinics, and one of my parents who heard about it, well, the news started spreading, and one of my parents, she said, "Debbie, I'm gonna take you to a naturopathic because she has a
Mhm.
stomach issue as well." And she
Mhm.
said, "God is good." She said, "Everything will be all right." I said, "I believe that." I went
Right.
and saw all the cancer patients around doing different detox and different things. I listened to her. I showed her the paper with the type of cancer. And she was like, "Wow, that's a
Mm.
real bad one. Real
Mm.
bad. So you have a lot of yellows in your body, saffron." I said, "All
Mm.
right." So I listened to her. But after I spent my $700 and she gave me a bottle of energy, I told my parent, I said, "Listen to me. I'm not coming back here." I said, "Energy
Mhm.
in a bottle?" I said, "No, no, no. That's not natural." And that was the end of it. She said, "But you're spending money." I said, "That's quite okay." I said, "That's quite okay.
Mhm.
Everything was gonna be all right." And I got back and I went back to my herbalist and I told him what it was. And he said, "Debbie, you are strong." And he said, "I organize a cleanse for you." And
Mhm.
I start, well, I started to eat different before, right?
Right.
I'd stop eating meat, stop eating fish, and all that, even before that time. So I started to eat healthy.
Mhm.
And but the thing about it is that I didn't stay away from church. So
Mm.
I knew the news it was spread right around, this one person
Mm.
heard it, spread it to that one. And but I said, God is good, He will give me the strength. And I
Right.
remember,
Well, let's. I just want to pause just for a little pause. You were speaking about your daughter earlier on, and she
yes,
said, "Good night, ladies. What a wonderful program. May God continue to bless you both from your one and only daughter, and that will be Kadian
hi, good night,
Caraballo."
Kadian.
Yes. So I just needed to say that comment to you
Thank
before
you.
you go on so that
Mhm.
Kadian will know. She also says, "What an awesome God." And Cheryl and James said, "Amen. God is greatly to be praised." And Sandra
Amen.
Phyllis, "God be praised." And they continue. So we are so happy for all the love and all the comments that you all are sending. Uh, and listen, I always try to say this, you know, everybody's story is different.
Yes.
But the thing is, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your
Hmm.
mindset is what determines what your story is going to be. Your
Yes.
mindset. And so Miss
Mhm.
Debbie had that mindset that, you know what? There are natural things out there that can help me. And with a natural attitude of gratitude and resilience and a spirit of tenacity, I can make it through it. So, Miss
Mhm.
Debbie, continue on with your story. Let us know how God worked this thing out for you and what you did in order to be able to be living the life that you live now.
Yes. But yes, so I continue. I remembered my herbalist saying to me, um, everything begins in the mind,
Mm.
and I realized that was really true. And listening to songs, and I'm a person who listen to a lot of gospel songs, up tempo, slow one in between. Yeah, I have songs for when I'm cleaning. I have songs for when you just feel down and you don't want to listen to it. I have songs when
Yes. Hmm.
you feel to dance, you feel to
Wow.
lift your hands, praise the Lord, because at the end of the day, it's all between you and your Jesus.
God.
And
Mhm.
death and life begins upstairs there. Death and life
Hmm.
begins there. All right.
Right.
And most times when the reason why I strongly believe that most persons they just the life just leave them is when they are hit with that you have cancer. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like a bullet to put to your head, a gun to your head, and they just shoot you. And because people don't understand. And that's because people don't understand that life is in God's hand. And once you
Right.
put your trust in Him, He will see you through. And while I didn't understand everything 100%, I
Hmm.
remember I saying, look, everybody maybe know about this. So I have to walk into church. So I got up and I went off to church. And when I walked into church, I'm saying good morning to people, but everybody look at me like, it's a ghost. But
Hmm.
it's after I realized it's because the love that people are so
Right.
shocked because we,
Hmm.
we are so accustomed hearing that word, cancer.
Hmm.
And from the time you hear the word, you say, okay, that's the end of life. But no, it's
Hmm.
not. I knew that,
Hmm.
but they did
Hmm.
not. So everybody's looking at me, who will hug me and say, sister, we're praying for you. And right there, I'm
Hmm.
saying, okay, people start hearing this. And I continue normal. But then my herbalist he said, listen, you need to do the cleanse. He said, this will
Hmm.
happen, that will happen. And he was helping me along.
Right.
And I remember it was that when I did the surgery, and all, it was August time and all that. And it was
Hmm.
like November, going to December around Christmas time when people will be looking forward to the ham and
Hmm.
expecting the big roast and the this and the other. And it's because he decided, listen to me, this cleanse you're going to do, it will be 3 times for breakfast, 3 times
Hmm.
for lunch, 3 times for supper. Nothing
Hmm.
eaten. I said, okay. He said, no working. You need to be in a relaxed environment and all that. I said, no problem. Made up my
Hmm.
mind and I started taking this with lemon, of course, rough skin lemon, water.
All right.
So after you take one dose, you drink a certain amount, and I would just go and lie down in the living room, put on the TV or something, listen to something,
Yeah.
and um, but I was given some elimination tea before the night before. So
Mm-hmm.
when it started working, it's not like you had to be running to the toilet every minute, right?
Right.
Because the reason why your body is diseased because your body will be in a acidic state.
Mm-hmm.
The disease will be able to dwell in your acidic state, and I needed my body to be in an alkaline state. So you cannot put good things on top of a acidic body. So you have to cleanse it.
Right.
So I had to do
Mm-hmm.
3 days of cleansing. So I did 3 days of cleansing. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
easy, but by God's grace, I made it through. I
Mm-hmm.
remember sometime before the cancer that I had fibroid, and I was my herbalist told me you need to do a 5-day cleanse. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
eaten, just a cleanse. And I know I passed out a lot of stuff. And the half, it was the last day, and half into that last day, I said to him, I said, oh, and my body is just a bit too weak. I need to get up. He said, all right. And right away, I went on watermelon juice. And the
Mm-hmm.
watermelon juice that made me, I just spring up like a spring chicken. Got all the
Right.
energy with the rice. And so with the cleanse for
Uh,
the cleanse at that time, I did that cleanse. I keep praying and
uh-huh.
I went through without being bothered. My daughter helped me through. I make sure that time I had a lemon tree, a rough skin lemon, so it was easy to get my lemons and do my stuff. And
All
after
right.
that, I was given a sheet where I had to, the body's already cleansed. So after cleaning it out, you can't go eating dumpling or eating
Mm-hmm.
yam, those heavy stuff. You have to go
Mm-hmm.
gradually with a little soup, a little water soup with just the little
Mm-hmm.
nutrients in it, and gradually and certain juices you will. And mind you, I got back my weight as when I was a teenager. I got back to 125 pounds.
Hmm.
So
Because
when yes, go ahead.
I know that you had gotten really, really small.
Really
You had really
small.
gotten small. But
Yes.
here's this, Sister Debbie. I need to ask this. And before I ask this, Daniel John says, God be praised, blessings, Debbie.
Hi,
It's
Daniel.
great to have you in the house, Daniel. Yes.
Thank
So
you.
here's my question for you, right? I know that in taking the cleansing and doing the um, herbal cleansing that you had to do, changing your diet and all this, it took discipline, a
Yes.
discipline that you continue with even today. So here's my question for you. What it is that kept you so disciplined? What was that thought? Why was life so important to you? What was that thought that kept you disciplined?
I think from an early age, I was a disciplined person. Not only in school, discipline at doing what I had to do, and I'm a disciplined person within my business as well. So I
All right.
always had that. I grew up as a pathfinder, from
Mm-hmm.
adventurer into pathfinder. And in those clubs, you are being taught to be disciplined. All right.
Right.
So I grew up there, and I had one Ulriz. I forgot deceased. I forgot to mention his name. He has been a
Mm-hmm.
really help to me in my years as well. And
Mm-hmm.
not only human being, but God is all about God placing these persons in my life. And so from young, I've always been a disciplined person. And several persons will say to me, Miss Debbie, you are really disciplined. I remember a parent saying to me, Miss, you are so disciplined. I can tell that. You have to be a Christian. You grew up in a church. You look like you grew up in church because
Mm-hmm.
and something about you. And I said, yes. I said, yes, of course. I'm a disciplined person. So where time is concerned, I know how to work with time. I know when I am not supposed, because people's like, how you could do that, girl? You leave off
Mm-hmm.
meat, you leave off fish, and you're taking these yucky things. And I said, it's all in the mind.
Right.
And being disciplined is all in the mind. You have to know what
Mm-hmm.
you want by the help of God for yourself. It's not about the neighbor, it's not about your friends, it's about you and God, and
Mm-hmm.
allowing God to make the way for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it came, I should say, easy to
Right.
have that disciplined mind, because when I give my story to person, they will say, girl, you real disciplined. Yes, not me now. I could not have done that. And
Mm-hmm.
I really thank God for that. I really,
Yes.
really thank God for that.
Yes. I think it's a good thing when you can learn discipline from early because I'm telling you,
Um,
discipline is one of the things that we can struggle with. I am struggling with it. Um, right now I'm on a diet, a sugar-free diet, and I'm thanking God that I actually 24 days into it and I have not
Praise
touched
God.
sugar.
Praise
But
God.
it is not an easy thing, it's not, it really isn't an easy thing to be able to live that kind of a rigid, I would use rigid for want of a word,
Yeah.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
disciplined life because I know that it's not it's about what you eat, how you
Mm-hmm.
rest, and everything that comes into play in order for you to live this healthy life. Now, Sister Debbie is a person that live a holistic life. And that's why I believe that her story was such a wonderful story or inspirational story for Shia's room. She plays hard, she works just as hard, and all in a state of a disciplined mindset. And so, Sister Debbie, uh, again, I want to ask, because we all have different things that we live for, right? And before I go on, a Facebook user said, "Good night, ladies. God be praised. Great testimony." It sure is a great testimony.
Praise
That's for
God.
you, Sister
Thank you.
Debbie.
Thank you so
We don't
much.
know who is leaving again, so y'all can pop in your name when you leave in the comments so that we know who is shouting out the love. That if you choose. Says, I'm struggling also with discipline, but by God's grace, I will get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Praise God. Yes, you will get
God
there. You will.
Yes. God can't do anything. I mean,
Yes.
God is about minds. And again, we said it's by the renewing of the mind. So there are a lot of things in our paradigm that we have to change,
Mm-hmm.
where our thinking is concerned. And once
Yeah.
we think, and for me, it's about loving life. And Sister Debbie, I think you love life.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I just want to ask, why does you love life so much? But before you answer me, uh, Andrea Mason said, "Good evening, ladies. Wishing you wellness, safety, and
Good
happiness."
evening.
Hey,
Good evening.
yes, good evening to you, Andrea, too, and wishing you the same. So, Sister Debbie, I mean, why does you love life? So, if they say camp, Sister Debbie is there. If they say, okay, let's go Jamaica, she is there. Let's go in the States, she is there. And on top of that, they say, okay, if we need someone to teach the young people, she is there. We need someone to do praise and worship. She is there. She is just like always there, always present. And even when she struggled with the cancer, you never really know that she was sick except for the fact that she was growing small. So
Mm.
what it is about life that make you enjoy life so much? What it is? What it is that gives you this great strength for just living and enjoying a holistic lifestyle.
Well, when I look back and I see where God has brought me from, and I know the things that I went through, it wasn't me, it wasn't anybody else but God. I must say,
Mm-hmm.
but God. And not only as a youth, but I was a married person as well. And I went through a number of things, and it's God.
Mm-hmm.
God pulled me through, right?
Hmm.
And God has given me, and He has given me gifts. He has given me
Right.
talents, and
Mm.
I don't think that I should keep these things to myself. So I love to
Hmm.
share. I grew up in a family that loves sharing, and I always said to my daughter and a few others, I said, if it wasn't for the person who took time to share with me, I would not have been here today.
Right.
God put these
Hmm.
persons in life to share food, clothing,
Hmm.
shelter, um,
Hmm.
everything that I needed. God put these
Right.
persons in my life. And when I look back and I know it was only God, and I say, something, God
Mm.
has given me all these gifts and these talents to share.
Mm-hmm.
And I love life because I love to see people smile. I
Right.
love to see people be happy. And I
Mm.
love children a lot. So I always had to share. And I remember my uncle said to me, Granny at the time, well, Auntie Sister Cecilia Gonzalez, she said to me one day, she said, you look like you want to be a hairdresser, you love to. But she had some really big dolls. And I used to
Mm-hmm.
cut the hair and styles and put curlers and stuff. And she said, you like you'll be a hairdresser, like to style up hair and stuff. But my uncle said, no, no,
Right.
no. She will do very good with children. So I think you should
Mm.
get into that. So I got into that, and so I love life because I love people. I really love people, and
Mhm,
especially young people. And
mhm,
I see my and young people I know love me because they give me the opportunity even when I was going through my rough time.
mhm,
I don't want to get emotional about this one. But
hmm,
when I was going through my rough time, I remember I was the eldest person singing in a youth choir that some people thought
hmm,
that I should not have been there. What is
right.
old woman doing there? But the young
Mhm,
people, you know, they accepted me
mhm,
with among them. They accepted the talent, the singing talent that God has given to me, and I was able to sing out all my trials within a youth choir when nobody knew. I was in
mhm,
another group singing out my, as the old people would say, a soul case when nobody knew. Why wouldn't
mhm,
I love life? God has been really, really good. I was there singing and singing and going and always on time and going out.
mhm.
I remember as a young person growing up too, who was very instrumental in helping me along? Brother and sister Lewis, David Lewis and his wife, Auntie Sel.
Mhm.
I sang with, they had a group by the name of Gospel Messengers, Sherma,
Right.
Lewis, Vita, and Remember
Mm,
singing and going out and having programs all down south, all over. We will do so. So all these things were part of my life. And I say, you know
mm,
something? I need to give back. I need to do something. I mean, I went through a lot. And I know that God has something in store for me still. And here am I today. God be
right.
praised.
God be praised. And I want to
God
do
be praised.
something tonight that I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Ah, I
Yes,
wonder
she
what
talked
is that?
about she spoke about singing in the choir. I know that she has a love.
Mm,
And one thing I know about praising God now, Miss Debbie too, is you think it's just, you know, let's go camp. No, let's go concert. Oh, she's there also,
yeah.
jumping up.
Yes, yes,
She's
yes.
there enjoying life. So I want you to just give us a boost of something, some song that have been inspirational in helping you as you journeyed from being a victim to cancer to being a victor over cancer.
Well, I'll try and see if I can remember. Sometimes I tend to forget words, but I'll try my best. This old song that some people will know it, and I knew it from since I was a child, and that song is I'm only human, I'm just a woman,
Mm,
and
right.
it goes like this: I'm only human, I'm just a woman, and I think I'll stay right there.
Ah,
I
no,
know you want
that's
more, right?
okay.
Lord, help me believe in what I can do and all that I am. Show
Mm-hmm.
me the stairway that I have to climb. And Lord, for my sake,
Yes.
teach me to take one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking of you. Please give me the strength to do everything that I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me today, show me the way, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
One
Such
day
a
at a
fitting
time.
song. Such a fitting song. How did Sister Debbie get over cancer? One, she knew that she was a child of the King, not just the King,
Yes,
but the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
Lord of God, amen.
And she believed it. And she knew that life was worth living. Two, one day at a time. One day, each day, disciplining herself to live life at its best, to live life at its fullest, to think right, to eat right. And she had the right support. With everyone that I have interviewed on Shia's Room, there's something that they all have in common. We've heard different stories of persons having cancer and how they overcame was different. But there's something that they all had in common. They loved people. They had a passion for people. I always say my philosophy that I based everything on is love for God and love others as you love yourself. This is what gives us the greatest joy of living. And we have seen it here with the little experience we had with Sister Debbie Caraballo, that her love for people have been a great help in her being able to overcome cancer. Today, she's cancer free. She's
Amen.
cancer free. She's not, she has back her weight. And if you look at her, you won't be able, no, her lighting does not give her justice. But I'm telling you, y'all, you will not be able to guess her age. She looks young, she looks healthy. and she is always well dressed.
Praise
She just
God.
in love with life. She's royal and she knows it. And she's encouraging us today. Know that you're royal. Know that you're special. Yes, we struggle with discipline. I do myself, but we can when we know that our purpose here on earth is to enjoy life. Christ
Yeah.
died so that we could have life and have it more abundantly. The prayer is, let it be done on earth as it is done in heaven. So, our prayer for you is that you have a wonderful and blessed and enjoyable time here on this earth because you know that you're special, that you are loved, and you're a child of a king. This is Beverly Briggs reminding you that our future belongs to us. Sister Debbie, do you have any last words that you want to just say and just say bye to our supporters as we uh, exit for now until next Tuesday
I will
when
just
I
like
shall
to
be here with another interviewee. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I will just like to encourage persons looking on. If ever you are faced with whether it's diabetes, cancer, whatever, that is not the end of the road, it's not the last of it. Give it to God, trust God. As I do up to this day, I trust God, I put everything into His care and keeping. When you have to cry, cry. Call upon God. Do a little bit
Hmm.
of gardening like me. That's where I go. And I see God in everything that I do there in the garden. And I
Hmm.
want to give God praise and thanks. And I pray that God will be with each and every one. I thank you for your support throughout the years, those of you who know me and those who don't. I pray that God will continue to bless and keep. And I pray God's blessing on Miss Briggs and her programs. And I pray that God will be with her. I am proud of her. And I thank God for the opportunity.
Thank you. And so I am reminding you like and share this video. Share it to someone whose life may need some inspiration. We were born to inspire. We were born to be light. Sister Debbie, thank you so much. Thank you for
You're
taking up
welcome.
the challenge to be on with me tonight. And thank you for all your love and support that you have given me. And thank you to our supporters. Thank you for your love that you have shared with Sister Debbie tonight. It was a source of encouragement. I know to her that you were there listening. Again, and for those who have the video on YouTube, please subscribe if you have not subscribed, like, and share. We really want to meet as much persons as we can. And your daughter, Katie Caraballo, she is clapping. She say, "Yeah, mom, I'm proud of you." And my mom
Thank
is
you
saying,
so
"Bye,
much.
bye,
Yes.
y'all. Bye for now. Bye for
Bye,
now."
everyone.